What's up? You're in the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Bastille is a new record entitled Give Me the Future. They released that on February 4th. This is the band's fourth studio album, and it follows their 2019 effort, Doom Days, a record that is not as dark as its title might suggest. However, that album was strongly driven by a concept. And this new album, Give Me the Future, not focused on a concept so much as some strong themes. And one of those themes is something that I feel has driven their music from the start. One of my favorite things about Dan Smith. I love the way he handles the idea of escapism. And I love the way that their pop sensibility highlights this concept. I think it's the best thing about their music. And on this new record, it's within the context of this new world that we live in as far as technology. Our devices, social media, all of these things that I think people are starting to acknowledge the level of toxicity that goes along with a lot of them. There's definitely this mass exodus of social media from platforms like Facebook, myself included. And I think down the road, these things will become more useful. I think they'll become more constructive. But for the time being, I think Dan's, his outlook is all about learning to cope with these things and just kind of wait out the, I guess, the transition for these things to hit that constructive point. In the meantime, though, we can just dance the night away to this record. This album feels good. Their music feels good, and it's what I like about them. It's so funny how polarizing Dan's voice is. In preparing for this album review, there really isn't like any middle ground. I feel like people really like his voice, or people just are so turned off by it. And me personally, it's not my favorite. I'm not in this camp by any means. I think he has a great pop sensibility. I think he writes awesome vocal hooks. And I'm really liking the way that they're working with an electro pop element on this record. It's something that I don't think they've really worked with a ton before, and I think it makes it their strongest effort to date. This definitely feels the most experimental that they've ever been with their pop style. And this album just ended up being a lot of fun to listen to. I was pleasantly surprised. I kind of went into this with a bit of an assumption and didn't realize I was going to get that electro pop component. So definitely has this kind of like dark synth new wave feel, a bit of a goth element to it. Think of bands like The Cure, OMD, Depeche Mode. I dig that about this album. It starts with distorted light beam, kicking in with that dark synth right off the bat. You get this bass drum that just brings in, and then once the chorus hit, this thing hits hard, and it's really a great opener. Your second track, Thelma and Louise, certainly a highlight on this record, one of my favorite tracks. It's got this strong 80s funk vibe, great electro synth element to it, and I love the pre-chorus. It's just got this just very minimal feel to it, and it's a great little breakdown, and it just kicks right into the chorus beautifully. Definitely a highlight of this record. No Bad Days is your third track. A fine example of Dan and the way that he can approach some dark themes and do it in a way it's got a great contrast with the light music. And this particular song focuses on someone coping with the final days of their life, but the approach is no bad days. Like every day I'm going to wake up, and no matter how painful things might be, no matter what my mental state might be like, I know that I'm running out of time, and I need to cherish this time. So no matter what, there's no bad days. And I think that the dynamic in this song is it's really a fine example of his strength as a songwriter. You got a couple of interludes on this album. One of them is the fourth track, Brave New World. Leads into Back to the Future, which is another one of my highlights on this record. I really like the light, funky guitar on this track. It's got a great hook. It's got that tone that they're known for as well. It's very signature. It's very unique and distinct, kind of like Dan's voice. But it's a great song to dance to. It's got a nice pop funk feel to it. Leads into Plug-In, which is probably the darkest moment on this record. And there's certainly some very earnest moments lyrically, this being one of them. But I like that, and I don't think it's overkill. And I think that given that idea of escapism that we talked about, a little context as to why one is feeling discontent, why one is unhappy, certainly lends itself to, I guess, the credence of wanting to escape. Why one needs that outlet. So Plug-In lyrically is a fine example of that. It's got a nice string component through, balanced with some dark music. Leads into Promises, which is a spoken word component, almost kind of feels like an interlude as well. Moves into Shut Off the Lights, which great hook in this song as well. It's got a strong Afrobeat influence that I noticed. Also, their ninth track, Stay Awake, is got this a cappella intro, and these scattered guitars start to fill in. I really like just the light nature of this track. It's got a bit of a yacht rock feel. I will say that middle stretch of the record, I feel with those interludes, it does start to waver a little bit. I really do like the last few songs. Give Me the Future, as we've got here, the title track is a chill, mellow tempo. It's very nicely done. Club 57, bright, poppy in contrast. It's definitely funky. Honestly, the Iconopop song, it's like, I don't care. The melody just reminded me of that. There might be some copyright issues that they face in the future for it. I don't know, but I thought that sounded a lot like that song. Maybe that's just me. You get another interlude here with the 12th song, and then your 13th track, Future Holds, is just it's like funky pop meets gospel. I really like the way that it closed out this record. This is a strong record. Again, I was not expecting this effort from this band. I kind of went into this thing with an assumption, thinking that maybe I was going to pass on it. And I was on the fence for a bit. However, I think I'm going to please this. And I think that there's a lot of fun stuff on this record that a lot of DJs, including Dan himself, will remix. And I think you're going to hear a lot of these songs this summer. It's going to be a vinyl please. I hope you enjoy listening to this record. I hope you find this review helpful. Also, please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2022, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We'll see you next time on the Beat Sessions.